We're taught that geology is slow. We're told that it takes millions of years for continents to drift, mountains to rise, and ice ages to thaw. The Earth's timeline is supposed to be incredibly boring, a straight, predictable line stretching back into deep time. But what if it isn't? What if the apocalypse doesn't take millions of years? What if it takes a single afternoon? In 1966, a brilliant researcher figured out exactly how the world ends, not by a meteor, not by nuclear war, but by a catastrophic instant flip of the Earth itself. He wrote a book about it, detailing the exact science. But before you could read it, the CIA stepped in, seized the manuscript, classified it as top secret, and locked it away in a vault for 50 years. Welcome to Forbidden Origins. Today, we aren't just looking at history, we are looking at our expiration date. We are told in school that human civilization is a triumph of continuous progress. We went from striking flint in caves to putting a flag on the moon in a straight, uninterrupted line. We are taught that the ground beneath our feet is permanently stable. Sure, we have earthquakes and storms, but the Earth itself? It's solid, safe. But history is not a straight line. It is a repeating cycle of instant, global resets. Enter Chan Thomas. In 1966, Thomas published a book titled The Adam and Eve Story. Now, despite the title, this wasn't a religious text. Thomas was an aerospace engineer, a researcher who looked at geological anomalies that mainstream science couldn't or wouldn't explain. His premise was terrifyingly simple. He proposed that the Earth's magnetic poles don't just wander slowly. Occasionally, they snap. And when the magnetic field destabilizes, the Earth's crust, the very ground we live on, briefly detaches from the molten core inside. Imagine driving down the highway at 100 miles per hour and you suddenly slam the brakes. You fly forward. That is what happens to the Earth's crust. It slides thousands of miles in a matter of hours. The equator moves to the poles, and the poles move to the equator. It is a complete civilization-wiping reset. And the most terrifying part? Intelligence agencies know it's going to happen again. You might be thinking, that's impossible. If the crust shifted that fast, there would be evidence everywhere. There is. Let's look at Siberia. For decades, scientists have been pulling perfectly preserved woolly mammoths out of the permafrost, and I mean perfectly preserved, meat so fresh that hunting dogs have actually eaten it. But here's the detail mainstream science glosses over. Inside the stomachs of these mammoths, they found fresh, unchewed tropical buttercups. Let that sink in. A massive elephant is grazing on a warm tropical afternoon. Suddenly, within minutes, the temperature drops so fast and so violently that the animal is flash frozen before it can even swallow its food. It didn't freeze over centuries, it froze instantly. His environment went from a tropical paradise to a sub-zero deep freeze in the blink of an eye, exactly as Chan Thomas predicted. But the freezing cold isn't the real killer, it's the water. If the Earth's crust slips just 90 degrees, the oceans don't move with it. Thanks to inertia, the water stays put while the land slams into it. We are talking about a supersonic tsunami, a 2-mile-high wall of water moving at 1,000 miles per hour. It would wash over continents like water sloshing out of a bathtub. It would instantly wipe out everything from New York to Los Angeles, scrubbing the Earth clean of all our concrete, our glass, and our arrogance. And Chan Thomas had the math to prove it. He published his findings, and then the CIA knocked on his door. In 2013, the CIA finally released a declassified version of the Adam and Eve story through the Freedom of Information Act. You can go read it right now on their official website. But here's the chilling part. Thomas's original book was over 200 pages long. The CIA only released 57 pages, and those 57 pages are heavily redacted.
What math, what exact dates were in those missing 150 pages? What did an aerospace engineer figure out in 1966 that the Central Intelligence Agency deemed a direct threat to national security? So, let me get this straight. The CIA can successfully hide the literal end of the world from the entire global population for half a century, but they still can't build a government website that doesn't crash when I try to renew my passport? Comforting, honestly. At least when the 2-mile-high supersonic tsunami hits, my taxes will be forgiven. Silver linings, right? But let's get back to the dark reality of this cover-up, because the government didn't classify this book because it was fiction. They classified it because it was a schedule. The ultimate cover-up isn't about the past, it's about right now. Why would the government hide an unstoppable natural disaster? Because if the public knew our actual expiration date, the global economy would instantly collapse. Who goes to work? Who pays their mortgage? Who follows the law if they know a pole shift is coming in their lifetime? For the last 50 years, global governments have spent trillions of our tax dollars missing money from the Pentagon that nobody can account for, building massive, deep underground military bases, or DUMBs. We go to work every day, we pay into a system, we stress about our credit scores, while the elites quietly stock their subterranean bunkers to survive the coming reset. They aren't trying to save us. They're using our labor to build their own lifeboats. Chan Thomas gave us the warning, and the CIA silenced him so the elite could prepare in peace. They want us kept in the dark. They want us isolated, distracted by petty politics and reality TV, completely unaware of the ground shifting beneath our feet. But not here. Here at Forbidden Origins, we are building a family of truth seekers. We look out for each other, we question the narrative, and we refuse to be blinded by the establishment. Because when the lights finally go out, all we have is us. I want to hear from you down in the comments. Does the government have the right to hide an extinction-level event to prevent global panic and keep society running smoothly? Or do we, the people, deserve to know our own expiration date, no matter how terrifying it is? Drop your thoughts below. It's going to be a wild debate. Don't forget to hit subscribe, share this with someone who needs to wake up, and never stop questioning the origin. Stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next one.